So if you're a fan of mine, you probably have seen this video recommended to you. You might have even watched it. And a lot of people have asked me to react to it. And today I thought I would. I feel like it's important I do. I normally don't watch these types of videos about me because sometimes they contain misinformation and outlandish claims. But I'm a fan of Sunny's, and I watch most of his videos. And I trusted him to get it right. So I clicked on the video, and it is surprising how accurate he got it. He's wrong about a few things here and there, but for the most part, I was very humbled by watching this video. At the beginning of the video, he talked about how I came from no money, and the videos that I made that were personal about myself were always positive and uplifting, and I seemed to be quite the optimist, and that eventually changed, and it did. It did. In 2017, I got divorced. I got a gastric bypass surgery. Internet sentiment turned against me. And in that year, I became a cynical, bitter, shitty, terrible person. That's definitely who I was. And when Sonny showed that in the video, I realized that he was right. In fact, I've known it for a while. And normally, this is where I would make excuses for that behavior. But there really is no excuse for that behavior, to become that person, to think that way, and then put that on my YouTube channel was self-destructive and idiotic, and that's what I did, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life. I faced the divorce, I faced a ton of internet hate, I faced my gastric bypass surgery and losing my coping mechanism of food. But instead of rising to that challenge, instead of being the optimist, instead of being the positive person that I'd always been, I let it spiral out of control, and I indulged myself, and I became self-defeating and self-loathing, and I hated myself, and I hated the world, and I hated being alive. And instead of fighting that by getting therapy and getting medication and going into rehab and getting better, I just ran with it. I just ran right down the rabbit hole into oblivion and irrelevance. And fuck, that was stupid. Every time we face a challenge, we make a choice. Whether we do it consciously, subconsciously, but we do it instinctually, it doesn't matter. You make a choice. And the choice I made was self-destruction. The choice I made was the wrong one. In 2020, I tried to get better. I stopped live streaming. I started uploading only one video a week. I started intense therapy. I started medications. I started journaling every day and doing worksheets every day and getting better. I had a pretty major setback in September when I interacted with a very negative and bad person, and that person showed up on my front lawn. And I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I will say it served a very important breaking point for me where I had to get better from that moment forward. I had to get better, or otherwise I was going to jail. So I doubled down on the therapy, doubled down on the medication, and tried to learn how to be a better person. And Sonny was right. I was not smart with my money. I mean, I bought a lot of collectibles, obviously, which is a good thing because I can resell these, and I have been slowly reselling these to make ends meet over the last year. But on top of that, I gambled in crypto and lost. I traveled. I spent money on people that I shouldn't have spent it on and doing things I shouldn't have done. And I have to live with that regret for the rest of my life because I really wish I had that security now. And I don't. And I could try to blame somebody else for investing in a shit coin that they told me was going to be good. But I'm the one who hit the buy button. I'm the one who flew to LA. I'm the one that flew to New York. I'm the one who spent his money. I can't point the finger at anybody else. I'm the one who fired a gun that made me spend $27,000 in legal fees to stay out of jail. That's me. I did all of that. Now here I am several years into therapy, several years into medication, several years into practicing those techniques, and I've gotten better. But I'm pretty far from perfect. I'm pretty far from the person that I was back in 2015, 2016. I think a lot of the things that have happened to me have irrevocably changed part of me, but I am more optimistic than I've been in a really long time. I feel more positively than I have in a really long time. I'm learning to like myself. I'm learning to forgive myself. it's a slow process because I'm really angry at myself. I'm really mad at myself. I look back at who I was in 2018, 2019, and I see an angry, bitter troll of a man who is literally delusional, not living in reality, not connected to actual reality. And I fucking hate that was me. I hate it. And I don't blame anybody else for hating it. Sunny, as well as Charlie and Muda and all these other people, have all said, if I make better content, I have a chance. And I think that means I'm definitely going to have to stop doing the personal content. I know that's going to be disappointing to a lot of you because I've trained you to really like that content and watch that content. And it doesn't mean I won't do it at all. It just means I'm going to do far less of it and instead talk about interesting shit that doesn't come across as manipulation, doesn't come across as poor pity me. I don't want to talk about my money. I don't want to talk about my mental health. I want to keep that between me and my therapist. And I made this decision in therapy last night. And my therapist agrees. This is probably the best path for me. If it's disappointing to you guys, I'm sorry. I'll find a way to communicate with you about that stuff, even if it's membership, a second channel, something like that. But as long as I'm still a bitter, cynical asshole, I want to keep that to myself and my therapist. But going back to Sunny's video, looking at the video, I realized how obsessed with my money I became after my divorce, how bitter and angry I had become, how cynical, and how my content reflected that. And I've been working to change that for a while, but it shows me how desperately it needs to change. Because I always wanted to put positivity into the world, and I've put a lot of negativity in it. And I don't want to be that person anymore. So I'm going to go do some worksheets and some journaling and try to get better. And I have a second therapy session this Friday, so I'm excited to do that. And I'm going to continue to work on getting better. And when it comes to what I'm going to upload to this channel, I'm not going to talk about my money anymore. I'm not going to talk about my financial shit. I'm not going to talk about my mental health shit. And if I do talk about any of that, I'm only going to speak about it positively. Because that's what you guys deserve. Hell, that's what I deserve. I want to be better. I want to do this job better. For those of you who've checked me back out after that video, I really appreciate you. For those of you who've left mean or negative comments, I appreciate that too, because I know it comes from a place of some level of constructive criticism. For those of you who stuck by my side this whole time, God bless you. I really appreciate you guys. That said, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again.